Judy, this is actually the first time that I've had a cup of tea since I was a Marine in the Boxer Rebellion in 1884. But renewing this association with you on your show, considering the fact that I feel like your father confessor, and a lot of people do know it was in my book, So Help Me, that many years ago I met you. You were a tiny girl in Chicago. Do you remember?
That's right. Yes, I do remember.
My goodness.
You were so nice to me.
Well, I was always nice to attractive young girls. And old men, too. But anyway...
I sing like an old man.
No, you sing like a doll. Yeah. We were playing, I think you must remember, at the Oriental Theater in Chicago. My, how crowded the theater. We were doing 6 shows a day.
That's right.
And I remember you were a baby with your family doing an act. The Gum Sisters.
Yes.
The Gum Sisters.
Terrible name.
Yes, it was a bad name. And I was the sort of a big macher, the boss of the theater.
You were the star.
And they got rid of a lot of the acts. And not that they were bad, but they got rid of them because we don't need it. You know, Georgie, you talk so much and the people want to see you, which they did then. And one woman in Pittsburgh. And anyway, the manager said we're going to go. I said, no, I tell you what you do. I said, you know, young and full of pep, I'll stay on as long as you like. I said, but keep that little girl. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Keep that little girl. Let the rest of the people go. Not that they're not good, but let them go. And Chicago, of course, was one. Do you remember Chicago then?
I remember Chicago.
You remember what was going on then?
Well, a lot of people were shooting each other.
Oh, shooting each other was nothing.
Wasn't Dillinger killed?
No, Dillinger was long after that.
No, it was that time.
Oh, that was Jesse James that I knew.
Oh,
But seriously, I remember one thing happened while we were playing there. There was a very tough fellow there. And he was a fellow that was, like many of the so-called hoodlums, was kind to his mother. And every Friday night, he'd go home where he lived on the Maxwell or Summer Street, have dinner with his mama. You know, shoot people in the morning, have dinner, then shoot some more, you know.
Between meals.
And finally, this night, on Friday night, he came home in an armored car to see his mother for the usual Friday night dinner. And as he stepped out of the armored car, they shot him full of holes. And breathless and bleeding, he climbed up the stairs and knocked on the mother's door. And she opened it. She said, Morris. He says, Mama, they got me. She says, first you'll eat, and then you'll tell me all about it. No, but the cute thing was, do you remember I told your mama, first, you remember I introduced you. You came out alone.
Yes.
Little baby girl, and I said to the audience, that's right, Frances Gum.
Ethel Gum.
Frances Ethel Gum. And it
Ethel.
sounded, Frances Ethel Gum. And it sounded like some funny little kid, like with pigtails. You know, the audience used to giggle. And I told your mother, I said, gee, I don't like that name for this lovely, warm little thing. She ought not to have say so. She said, Miss Jessel, well, she's just starting, you know. Call her anything you like. And so you don't know this. But what happened was there was a great actress called Judith Anderson, and she was opening in a Broadway show that night. And I had a Filipino valet who dressed me. I'm now dressing him, anyway. And he said, he called down from the balcony and said, Mr. Jesse, don't forget send a telegram to Judith Anderson. She opened a new show, and I called from down a very flowery telegram. Dear Judith, may tonight add another rose to the garland of successes that adorn your great something. And then I walked on. And I said, and now, ladies and gentlemen, a little girl destined to go very far in the show business, Judy Garland. And I said, that's you, honey. Yeah. And she came out.
That's right.
That's on the line.
You want some tea?
Nah.
No.
This is scenery for me, that's all. But I remember one thing.
Can I have some tea?
Sure, have some if you
I'll
like.
go straight here.
Yeah. And I'll have some with you.
Will you taste it first?
This is delicious. With beer, I'd like to have it. So then I said, now little Miss Garland will sing. And I lifted you up on the piano.
Yes, you did.
First I set you on my knee, which I would like to do again now. And I set you up on the piano, and you sang a song. I wonder if you remember, because this was a song that should have been sung by a woman with a broken heart, and a woman much more matured. And here were you, little Judy, 10, I think you were, and you sang the song. Do you remember the song?
My Bill?
My Bill.
Yeah.
Sing a few bars of My Bill.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll make out like I'm putting you on the... Okay, all right. Go ahead.
He's just my Bill, an ordinary boy. He hasn't got a thing that I can brag about, and yet to be upon his knee, so comfy and roomy, seems natural to me. Listen, now you sang. You remember my mother's.
Wasn't that lovely?
Please do.
No, it was you, not me, all right? That's right. I had just introduced the song. I took you off the piano, I sat you down, sent you back to Mama. Your Mama got a new name, and then I said, here's a song of mine, which I did. It was in a movie that
Please,
I
would
made.
you do for me?
All right, that was this one.
Yeah.
One bright and guiding light that brought me on from right I found in my mother's eyes. Those baby tales she told, that road all paved with gold, I found in my mother's eyes. Just like a wandering sparrow, one lonely soul, I walk the straight and narrow just to reach my goal. God's gift sent from above, that one real unselfish love I found in my